All right.
Okay, Eddie, I want to ask you this question. I noticed that we've all given it to Man U, Tottenham, Arsenal, and nobody's actually talking about Wolves. Wolves has been consistent.
And they are solid.
Very solid. Wolves has been consistent, and they're there. They're in the mix. You could see them touching base. They are beating the top teams. Are you not giving them that chance at all to make top four?
So I have a huge amount of respect for Wolves, and I know that because they are not the traditional team that is always fighting up there for top four, it's easy to almost discount them. But let me tell you the things that I love about Wolves. They've got a very good goalkeeper. Jose Sarr proved his credentials in the last couple of games, and they always say that you build from the back. The defense, is what actually wins championships. And I know we're not talking about championships now, but the top four. So I see Wolves as being a very difficult team to beat. Only need to look at the number of clean sheets that they've had this season. That begins to tell you that there is a mix of Wolves in what they're doing that actually makes them not to be discounted. Everyone loves Ruben Neves. He's one of their very good players there. And what they are lacking right now is goals, right? And they struggle, for goals depending on the team that they play. And if they can just click in front of goal, because they create chances. This is the thing, they create a lot of chances. And if you're a manager and your team is creating chances, you're happy with that because you would hope that one of those chances will be taken, advantage of. So this is what I would say about Wolves. They are unfashionable. They probably got a bad reputation from, history, what they've done in the Premier League. But actually, I look at them and I worry. I don't talk about them, but I worry. And I'm sure a lot of the teams around that top four, they're concerned about Wolves. So it will be interesting when we play them again, because there was a lot of bad feeling after that Arsenal game. Wolves felt hard done by, even though, they felt that they were the better team. So when they come to the Emirates, where they're going to play Arsenal next, it's going to be interesting how they show up and whether Arsenal will be able to match the passion and energy that they play. Because one thing that I've noticed about Wolves players, they play with so much passion and they play with so much energy. And sometimes that is even better than talent. Your work ethic, your commitment to the game. You want to be the first person in the tackle. And that's one thing I noticed about them. They're always wanting to be the first in the tackle, winning their individual battles. So I would say to you that people discount them maybe because of history, but there's a lot to love about Wolves.
Eddie, before you round up, Wolves actually brought in 3 players during the January transfer window. Hayo Kawebe from Grasshoppers, Ichihinho from Estoji, and Won Jong Sang from, I think, China. Do you think these guys will add make any difference to the existing players they have? Or do you know? Do you have any?
So in the running, you need players.
Yes.
You need to have players because substitutions, not substitution, injuries are going to happen. Suspensions are going to happen. So what I see Wolves doing is because they've got a great team ethic. So and they are hoping that they can slot these players in to do a job for one game or another. And that's all you can hope for, especially when things start heating up, when we get into March, April, and May. So I don't know what those players are necessarily going to do, but what I know is that as a team, when they slot in, you won't be able to tell the difference, because every time they substitute players, it's almost as if everyone knows exactly what they are supposed to do. And it looks like their manager drills that into them. They have a structure, they get back into position. So I feel like those players will be a compliment. Obviously, the Premiership is hard. When you come in January, it takes time to settle. But if those players can give them a 7 out of 10, a 6 out of 10 in terms of performance, I think they would have done well.
Femi, obviously Bruno Lage has done well for Wolves, but now let's even talk about the Man City, the Man City match. I want to discuss about that match and your predictions. Man City Tottenham obviously is a classic. And Man City is playing at home. I can see Eddie laughing already. You've decided what the outcome will be like, Eddie, right? Now, Femi, what are you looking at in this match? What do you think will happen? Do you see Conte showing his hands here? Do you think Conte could turn the table in this game?
Well, to be fair, most often you think there's only one winner there. But if you look at the recent results between City and Spurs, you find that Spurs have actually risen to the occasion on a couple of times. In fact, recently they knocked City out of the Champions League. I mean, if you remember, just about 2 odd seasons ago. So they would have recent history there. And when you have good recent history against an opposition, it's just a fuel for the next game, isn't it? On current form, everything points to the fact that City should take it. But Conte has Eric Dier back, so his backline will be shored up a little. And then it's still got Harry Kane in the team. He's got this amazing, solid goalkeeper. I think they have a base, Spurs. But on current form, I definitely give it to Man City because City need the title the way they're playing. They don't look like they're stopping. And the fact that they're also at home, that just totally then. I mean, the Etihad once became a slaughter slab for any team that was coming in. So, and they've been doing incredibly well at home as well. So I don't really see a Tottenham victory, but I think it may be a close one because Spurs always rise to the occasion when it's the big games. And for once, I think they'll come short because their recent confidence is very low. And I mean, a run of 3 losses in a row in the Premier League is not the right preparation for any team when you're playing against City. I just
let me shock you before you come in. Do you know Man City has actually won 12 of their 13 games they've played in a row. The only draw they had was against Southampton, which you all know how it ended. That was the only draw. Out of 13 games in all competition, FA Cup, Champions League, this is remarkable. And you know the funniest thing here, they are playing with a false 9. They don't have, Gabriel Jesus, you could see he's not delivered. I don't know if he has scored up to 5 goals this season. So he always plays with a false 9. You see him use Mahrez, use different players for the number 9 position. And at the end of the day, they are still scoring goals. In fact, the only person that has matched them in the EPL is Liverpool. They both have 66 goals, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they have 14 against, while Liverpool has 19 against. That is the only team matching them for firepower, 6 goals in the Premiership, without a striker, without a recognizable striker. Heavy, do you see Tottenham having any chance in this match?
Listen, this is like a boxing match where a heavyweight is fighting a featherweight. I don't see any other result than a Man City win. You know, you've just mentioned that stats there about them winning 12 and 13. Man City are playing at home. This is going to be like lambs to the slaughter. I just cannot see City contending. That's why I was smiling, because I cannot see City contending, with Tottenham, competing with them in a level that actually gives Tottenham a chance. We're just talking earlier on about home form, being important in the running. City are immaculate at home. They do not lose. They rarely even draw. So, for Tottenham to go there and obviously it's football, you give a team a chance, right? But that chance I give them is like 1.something%. This is almost a City. I expect to see goals. I expect to see at least 3 goals in this game for Man City. I don't even think there is any question about that. This is not the game that Tottenham is going to use to recover. Unfortunately for them, with all respect to Tottenham fan, it's going to be 4 in a row. After this, they can then start to build, their chase for the top 4. But Man City have got this. They are on the prowl right now. And the way that they systematically dismantle team, we talked about them playing a false 9. They've mastered that like no other team have. I think before you used to say Barcelona had that whole false 9 lockdown. I think Man City have locked it down to a point that they could actually let Ferran Torres leave.
Yeah.
Go to Barcelona. They said bye-bye to Aguero. And even sometimes Jesus don't even start the game.
A lot of time.
So when you think about how they play, and right now Tottenham are very, very slow at the back. You know, Tottenham used to have very good defenders, the Tongan. You know, these were usually you associate Tottenham with good defenders. Now we just don't know what's happening there. You know, Ben Davies has been all over the place, you know, as a defender. So I just look at that and, you know, Man City will be licking their chops. You know, I'll be thinking Sterling will be like, this is just a game for me to run, you know, at that left back, you know, for Tottenham and just take advantage of him. So I see this, I don't want to say a demolition because obviously it's football, but I don't see anything past the Man City winning.
Okay, Femi, let's go to Liverpool, Norwich. This is a mismatch as far as I'm concerned, but hold on. Hold on. Norwich is in actually a very good form. We've seen what Dean Smith has done since he came in. Norwich has been, you know, blazing. They have actually won 3 out of, you know, and drawn just 1 out of 6 matches they've played. So for a team that was down there previous months ago, and currently they're almost getting out of the bottom 3. Do you see now? Before I even ask you the question, Liverpool is actually also in the form of their life. They are like I said, they have matched Man City in terms of firepower, the same number of goals in the EPL. The difference here is just the goals against them. And Liverpool has actually won. They've won all their matches they've played, you know, and most of their players are back. We have the likes of Salah, Mane. What's this guy? The Mali, every one of them are back, which is like an addition, which is like a new signing. We used to call it those days in Arsene Wenger days, which is like a new signing. So Liverpool is actually in hot pursuit to Man City. But with these players coming back and with the form of Norwich, do you actually see a contest in this game?
I mean, to be fair to Norwich, they're not going to be turning up expecting to win. That's the truth. Because if you look at the history, past history and recent history between Liverpool and Norwich, in fact, Liverpool have won 13 of their past 15 Premier League games against the Canaries. So, I mean, that's a lot there. And they've actually scored 47 goals in that time, which is well over an average of 3 per game. So we're expecting them to score yet another 3 or more goals, especially with the fact that Salah is back, Mane is back. They've lost Jota, which should reduce the firepower, but then who better than Firmino, who scored in midweek as well, to come in and get the goals. So there will be problems for Norwich there. And like I said, they won just one of the last 12 away league games against Liverpool. And that was way back in 1994. So where are they going to get the confidence from? It's Liverpool just keeps scoring goals against them. Every time they play, it's all about Liverpool. So, and then the kickoff is 3 o'clock. Guess what? Liverpool haven't lost a Premier League game when they've kicked off at 3 o'clock the last 28 times. So a long time ago, they've lost at 3 o'clock. Looks like it's their favorite time to start a league game. And the number of games they've won against Norwich is actually the best against any team they've ever faced in the competition, especially if it's more than 5 games. You can only see one result.
With Norwich form and a new manager. Remember, we have a new manager. We have.
But then, if you look at the new manager, he's also been able to rely on Adam Ida. And Ida is now out for the season. And the guy has been really very good. Because Poki has not been scoring as many goals. But Adam Ida has come in and he's really, really helped. But unfortunately, the 21-year-old now is out for the rest of the season, they believe. So who is going to really bring that energy up front again? Now, I think Norwich may keep it tight. I see a 2-0 game, to be fair. I don't think it will be 4-5-0 because Liverpool want to conserve their energy as well. That's another thing you've got to think about. So it was like the Man City game. City were able to rest a lot of players against Norwich. They still won 4-0, but away from home, we know City dominate the ball a lot. Liverpool, they press. They don't actually really enjoy passing. Liverpool allow you a bit of the ball and they come at you. So I think for that reason, there may be a little chance of a 2-0. There hopefully 3 goals because we all love Liverpool scoring. But I mean, there's only one result in this one. But